It's crazy how one moment, one conversation, can change everything you thought you understood about someone, especially when that someone is your dad. I mean, the man who raised you, taught you how to tie your shoes, scared away the monsters, under your bed. How do you go from that to silence? I've been holding on to this story for a long time, and every time I tried to speak it, the words would just fall apart in my throat. But I think I'm ready now, not just for me, but for anyone out there who's ever had a moment with someone they love that shattered everything. It happened between me and my dad. And yeah, it ruined everything. Or maybe it just revealed what was already broken. I was never the kind of kid who fought with my parents. I wasn't perfect, not by any stretch, but I respected my dad. Maybe too much. You see, he wasn't the kind of guy who said, "I love you." He showed it, through work, through sacrifice, through being there at every school pickup. That was his language. So I learned to speak his language too. Keep it together, don't cry, keep pushing, keep quiet. And for a long time, I thought we understood each other. But here's the thing. No one tells you about getting older. The gap between who your parents think you are and who you're becoming starts to widen. And if you're not careful, that gap can turn into a canyon. It started the summer I turned 20. I was in college, coming home for a break. I had just changed my major, something I hadn't told him yet. I was nervous, but not because I thought he'd be angry. I wanted him to be proud. And I knew what he expected from me. The plan had always been simple. Go to business school, graduate, take over the family business eventually. That was the track, and I was on it. Until I wasn't. See, I had fallen in love with writing. Not business reports, not marketing plans, stories, real ones, human ones. I started taking creative writing classes, started publishing small pieces in the college magazine, and for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was really breathing. Like I wasn't just following some script. I was finally writing my own. But I hadn't told my dad. Not yet. So that summer, we were sitting out on the porch. I remember the smell of the grill, the sound of cicadas, the way the light was soft and golden. It felt like a good moment to tell him, so I did. And at first, he didn't say anything. He just sat there. Then he stood up, didn't look at me, just walked over to the grill, flipped something that didn't need flipping. And finally he said, "Why?" One word, but it felt like a wall slamming down. I tried to explain. I told him I wasn't quitting school, just changing direction, that I wanted to write, that I needed to, that I had found something that made me feel alive. But he just shook his head. And then he said something that hit me like a punch I never saw coming. He said, "So you're throwing your life away?" I laughed, not because it was funny, but because I didn't know what else to do. I said, "Dad, I'm not throwing anything away. I'm trying to build something real." And that's when he turned and looked at me. And I'll never forget. "This," he said, "you don't know what real is." And that was it. That was the moment. It wasn't loud. It wasn't a fight. It wasn't fists or yelling or slamming doors. It was silence. And that silence stretched into days. Then weeks. We barely spoke the rest of the summer. When I left to go back to school, he didn't hug me, just said, "Take care." 3 words that felt like a full stop. For months after that, I kept wondering what I could have done differently. Was I selfish? Naive? Was I wrong for wanting something more? Something different? I talked to my mom. She told me he was just hurt, that he had built his whole life around providing a path for me, and now he felt like I was walking away from everything he worked for. But it didn't feel like I was walking away. It felt like I was trying to step into my own skin. And here's the thing nobody tells you when you're growing up. You can love someone and you can disappoint them. You can be doing what's right for your soul and still break someone's heart. And sometimes, there's no way around that. Slow. Music fades into a more hopeful tone. It took 2 years for us to really talk again. Not the surface stuff, birthdays, holidays, weather. I mean talk. And when we finally did, it wasn't dramatic. There wasn't a big apology or emotional breakdown. We were sitting in the garage. He was fixing something, like he always did. And out of nowhere, he said, "I read that piece you wrote, the one about Grandpa." And I just froze. Because I had written that piece from a place of real pain. It was about legacy, expectations, and the weight of being someone's hope. He said, "It was good." That's all. But it was enough. Because for him to say it was good, that was his way of reaching out, of saying he was listening now, that maybe he didn't understand everything, but he wanted to try. We still don't see eye to eye on everything. We probably never will. But what happened between me and my dad, as much as it hurt, it forced us both to stop pretending, to stop performing the roles we thought we had to play. And yeah, maybe it ruined everything that wasn't real. But in the ruins, we found something new, something honest. Don't think relationships break just because of one conversation. I think they break when people stop being willing to understand each other. And I think they heal when someone, anyone, takes the first step. That day in the garage when he said, "It was good," that was his step. And when I said, "Thanks, Dad, it meant a lot to hear you say that," that was mine. So maybe the worst moment between us wasn't the end. Maybe it was the beginning. As we wrap up, I want you to think about the moments in your life that have shaped who you are today. What was it that changed your perspective, that made you see things differently? Sometimes it's the smallest things, those unexpected moments, that don't seem significant at the time, but later you realize they were the key to unlocking something greater. When I showed him exactly what he wanted to see, it wasn't just about the visual or the experience. It was about the realization that his expectations were just the tip of the iceberg. The world was offering him something far bigger, something more fulfilling. And isn't that what we all want? To feel like we're truly experiencing life at its fullest? I'm sure you've been in a situation where something unexpected opened. Your eyes to new possibilities. Maybe it was a conversation, a chance encounter, or something you stumbled upon. These are the moments that redefine us. And when I revealed to him what he needed to see, it wasn't a grand gesture. It was an invitation to embrace the power of discovery, to realize that life is full of hidden treasures, and sometimes we're too caught up in our routine to notice them. It's easy to go through life with blinders on, thinking that the path we're walking is the only one there is. But as soon as you let go and open yourself up to new experiences, you begin to see the world in a completely different light. And that's when everything changes. Transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow process, like planting a seed and watching it grow. It's not always obvious, and sometimes you don't even realize it's happening until one day you look back and see how far you've come. This was his transformation. The moment he saw beyond the surface, beyond his expectations, something clicked. It wasn't just an answer, it was a turning point. And from that moment on, he would never be the same. We all have the power to transform ourselves, but it takes courage. Courage to step outside of what's familiar, courage to embrace the unknown, and courage to believe that what lies ahead is worth the risk. As you continue on your journey, ask yourself, are you truly looking at life through the lens of what's possible? Or are you limiting yourself to what's comfortable, to what you think you already know? There's so much more to discover, but you have to be willing to dig deeper, to look beyond the surface. Just like when I showed him what he truly needed to see, it wasn't just a moment of satisfaction. It was a gateway to a new way of living. We spend so much of our time chasing after the things we think will bring us happiness, success, recognition, material possessions. But often the things that will truly make us happy aren't what we expected. They're deeper, more meaningful, and often require us to dig a little deeper, to be open to seeing the world differently. This is the universal truth that we often overlook. We are all on a journey to discover more about ourselves, more about the world, and more about the people around us. But it's up to us whether we remain stagnant or allow ourselves to evolve. The world isn't static, and neither are we. Every day is an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to become better than we were yesterday. It's easy to get lost in the noise, to let the chaos of life distract you from what truly matters. But when you take a step back and ask yourself, what is it that I truly want? What is it that will fulfill me? You open yourself up to something far greater than any material goal could ever offer. This is the moment where change happens. So, as you walk away from this moment, remember that life is a collection of moments, and it's up to you to decide how you want to experience them. Will you settle for the expected, or will you step outside your comfort zone and embrace what the world has to offer? Like him, you have the power to change your perspective and unlock a world of possibilities. Don't wait for someone else to show you the way. Take the leap yourself. Because in the end, what you need to see has always been right there, waiting for you. All you have to do is open your eyes and let the world reveal its true beauty.